that can match this. They don't call it a game because this has got all the agony and the ecstasy of war. Where losing can be national shame and the joy of winning is almost unbearable. It feels so good. This is life exploding with passion for 90 minutes. For 50,000 delirious people here and more than 1 billion around the world. They'll be cursing and spitting and swearing and screaming and crying at their television set. Don't try and explain it, just feel it. Feel the pain and the poetry of this phenomenon they call football.
They've come halfway around the world to watch Beckham and the boys take on Brazil.
Here against Roque Jr.
There's no fan more fanatic than an Englishman. These are not just Saturday Arvo. On parade are your red-blooded patriots. In the stadium, you can't hear yourself think. Christopher Robin is saying his prayers. It seems that God really is an Englishman. But just on half-time, a burst of that magical soccer sound.
Now, this is dangerous to England.
And suddenly, it's 1-1.
Bring themselves level. They certainly can. It's 1-1. It was brilliant.
Just like a mortar shell, another Brazilian ball rips the net apart. And the English Warriors are heading home.
It's not life and death. It's not. Nah, it's more important than that.
It's more important than life and death. I think we are passionate about football. We dress like this every day. This is a slog that we just happened to be walking past and we thought, we'll pop in there and have a look at the footy.
Next time, next time. Come on, England!
In World Cup football, we discover real men do cry.
We love them. We love them. They've given their all. The fans have given
Brilliant. It's brilliant. That's what it's all about.
Yeah,
that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
It's all about that.
But do you think it's like, is it like love? Is it that sort of passion for you?
Love? Ah, it's better than sex.
One should never explain love of anything, I guess, love of a woman or love of a man.
But it is love. You're using the right word.
But why doesn't anything match soccer?
Because it is the global game. It's the only game where you can play anybody else in the world.
Commentator Martin Tyler is a football legend himself. The voice of soccer, Tyler has done 7 World Cups. It's a beautiful game, he says, that anybody can play anywhere.
Very warm welcome for this 26-year-old.
It may not be the perfect grassy field. It might be a beach. It might be just like a corrugated roof of a baked hard piece of ground. You need a ball and you need a few players. You don't even need 11 aside. It's the simplest game in the world.
Football has turned Seoul's main market into T-shirt territory. In this ancient city of 10 million people, housewives now complain of something called World Cup syndrome. They watch too much soccer on the TV, they talk too much about soccer, and they even dream about soccer. But young girls dream about a pin-up boy called An Jung-wan, who married Miss Korea and romantically kisses his wedding ring every time he plays.
When he kissed his ring, it's just like I was his wife.
This is a rich culture based on peace and harmony and tranquility. But it's one of those Asian anomalies. The image that Australians have of South Korea is violent political demonstrations. It seems that every time a noisy crowd hit the streets of Seoul, the mood is anger, at least until the last 3 weeks. I have to tell you that of all the places I've been, all the stories I've done, I've never seen anything quite like this. Take an Aussie Rules Grand Final and multiply the crowd and the cacophony 10 times. And that's what you've got here. These Korean football devotees are the Red Devils. More than 1 million of them jam-packed in the city square. There's no drugs and no booze. These supercharged young Koreans are driven by adrenaline and patriotism. It'd be scary if there wasn't so much joy and so much self-control.
I think it's the first time in my life I've seen Koreans being in the street screaming and dancing and jumping together, embracing together. It's like Koreans were looking for some kind of gate to explode their festive hearts, but never found anything like that. And people are just going crazy, as you see.
It's supposed to be the country where there are no heroes. That's what we're told. And they now have a hero. And we're also supposed to be told that before we all arrived, that the South Koreans were given lessons in smiling. Well, they don't need lessons in smiling now, do they? They found plenty within their own football team to smile about.
And now it's Joaquin. And they saved it!
Anybody who knows anything about soccer knows that you can't beat Spain in a shootout. Somebody forgot to tell the Koreans that.
130 internationals. He needs all that experience here. It's all on his shoulders. He's done it! Can you believe it? South Korea are in the semi-finals of the World Cup. They've taken the long route today.
They'd love the World Cup and they'd love being involved in the World Cup, and I think that's fantastic. It's great to be a part of this whole tournament, and I'll remember this as long as I live.
Totti, he's given the yellow card against Totti.
At the World Cup, Mark Shield is one of the bad guys. He's one of the referees. One of these blokes that everyone loves to hate.
You practice blowing the whistle?
not actually practice blowing the whistle, but I'd be lying if I said that we didn't actually practice putting up the red and yellow card. So
You want to stand in front of the mirror and see what's good?
Didn't hear that from me.
At 28, Mark is the youngest referee in the Cup and maybe the fittest. Last month he was in Perth in charge of the Australian Grand Final. Now he's hit the real big time.
The Australian referee had not given himself a bit of thinking time.
Your intention is to be right 100% of the time. Your intention is to go out and say, if you see something, you blow the whistle, okay, that's a free kick that way, or that's a caution, or that's a red card. And sometimes you get 100% of them right. But sometimes...
You have a shocker?
We don't. And we have a shocker.
Yeah.
I mean, it just happens. That's football.
By day, Buddhists seek enlightenment in the solitude of the Chogai Temple. But tonight, it's the knockout semi-final against Germany. So the prayers and incantations are set in front of the big TV screens. The Korean faithful need all the help they can deliver up against these powerful Europeans.
The second, they've got men over on the right. He's got to look up though. He's got to look up.
And Buddha would probably understand. Certainly the holy men and the red devils sit together in harmony tonight.
In a secular world, if you like, it has become a religion. It's quite extraordinary that one event can bring so much out of so many people, particularly the young people. It's as if they needed an excuse to be really proud.
At half-time, it's 0-0 at the temple. Back on the streets of Seoul, a massive red army of 3 million people has taken over the city. 3 million foot soldiers. They sit here 40 kilometres from the football stadium, chanting at the giant screen. It's almost as if they feel this collective will and energy can lift their heroes to victory. It's worked before. But with minutes to go, the World Cup Cinderella loses her slipper, and the fairy tale is over. The German juggernaut finds a hole in the tight Korean defence.
Germany, through Ballack, have scored with 16 minutes left.
Defeat brings disappointment, but not despair. Instead of the riots and the hooliganism that we've come to expect from European fans, these Korean kids go straight to work, cleaning up confetti and debris. Can you imagine Australian kids doing this? So here it is, spick and span, the morning after the night before, and they're back to the business of business that they do so well. Amongst the Asian tigers, the Korean economy roars louder than just about anybody else. Still, the Koreans suffer from an inferiority complex. As a small country jammed between giants like China and Russia and Japan. But young Koreans insist that what happened here in this square during the World Cup has changed everything. That last night was not so much a defeat as the beginning of a new dream.
What we thought impossible proved not true. And we saw the potential of our strength. That's why especially young people are so excited about, because they could feel that their dreams could come true in the future.
Someone once called soccer a metaphor for life. It's a game you can win or lose. And just like life, the result is not always fair.
It is called a beautiful game. It has at times some non-beautiful moments, so I'd be foolish to pretend to you that all is sweetness and light all the time. But if you put a lot into it, you get a lot out of it. And I do think that's a pretty decent way of looking at life generally.